What if the monsters of legend weren't just myths, but a warning? In this episode, The Monster Apocalypse, are we ready? We dive into a chilling possibility. A world overrun by creatures we thought only existed in nightmares. From ancient prophecies to government experiments gone wrong, evidence suggests humanity might be closer to facing a monstrous uprising than we think. Are we truly prepared to survive the unimaginable? Join us as we uncover the science, the secrets, and the survival plans behind the coming monster apocalypse. The question isn't if they'll rise, but when. The monster apocalypse. Are we ready? The calm before the storm. For centuries, humans have whispered tales of monsters, enormous beings of unimaginable strength, ancient predators lurking in the shadows of myth and memory. From the fire-breathing dragons of medieval Europe to the colossal sea serpents said to prowl the deep, every culture on Earth has its own version of a creature beyond comprehension. But what if these weren't just legends? What if these monsters were real, dormant, hidden, waiting? And what if one day they awoke? This question fuels one of the most terrifying possibilities of our time: a monster apocalypse. In an age of environmental collapse, unexplained disappearances, and deep-sea discoveries, this idea feels less like fantasy and more like a dark prophecy waiting to unfold. So, the question stands: if monsters rise, are we truly ready? Chapter 1. The Birth of Monsters, Myth or Memory. To understand a monster apocalypse, we must first understand the creatures themselves. Myths of monsters may not be pure fiction. Many ancient tales may hold fragments of truth, cultural memories of real encounters long forgotten by science, but immortalized in folklore. The Epic of Gilgamesh speaks of Humbaba, a towering forest guardian slain by man's arrogance. Ancient Chinese texts mention dragons that controlled storms. In Norse mythology, Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, was so vast it encircled the world. Even Native American legends speak of thunderbirds large enough to carry whales in their talons. Modern paleontology and archaeology reveal that humans coexisted, briefly, with massive prehistoric animals. Imagine early humans stumbling upon the fossilized remains of a mammoth or a megalodon's tooth. It's easy to see how monsters were born in human imagination. But what if some of these creatures didn't die out completely? What if some evolved, hidden in unexplored places, adapting to the world's shadows? From the depths of the Mariana Trench to the ice caves of Antarctica, there remain vast regions of Earth we have never explored. If monsters still walk or swim this planet, they could easily hide in those uncharted zones. Chapter 2. The Modern Sightings, Signs of Awakening. Reports of giant creatures haven't stopped. In fact, they're increasing. Over the last 2 decades, countless eyewitnesses have claimed to see beings that defy explanation. In 2017, deep-sea drones captured footage of an unidentified 30-meter-long organism slithering through the abyss near Guam. In 2021, hikers in Siberia recorded a massive humanoid silhouette that vanished into a blizzard. And in 2024, satellite images over the Amazon revealed enormous, unexplainable movements of forest canopy, as if something colossal was crawling beneath. Governments have quietly classified many of these incidents. Military personnel have admitted to non-biological entities of large mass, and pilots have reported colossal flying forms not registered on radar. Could it be coincidence? Or is Earth stirring something ancient and powerful beneath the surface? Even nature seems to be changing. Strange vibrations deep underground. Migratory animals shifting their patterns. Whales washing ashore with massive claw-like marks. All these could be early warnings, signals that something beneath our world is waking. Chapter 3. The Science Behind the Apocalypse. While a monster apocalypse sounds like fiction, there are scientific theories that could make it possible. 1. Deep time survival. Some species are known as Lazarus taxa, creatures thought extinct that reappear after millions of years. The coelacanth, a prehistoric fish believed extinct for 65 million years, was discovered alive in 1938. If small creatures can survive undetected, what stops larger ones from doing the same in unreachable ecosystems, like the deep ocean or subterranean caverns? 2. Genetic reawakening. With the rise of genetic engineering, cloning, and synthetic biology, scientists can now reconstruct DNA from extinct animals. Projects like the woolly mammoth revival show that humanity can bring ancient creatures back. But what if the same technology, or an accident, reawakens something far deadlier? 3. Environmental catalysts. Global warming is melting ancient ice that has been frozen for millennia. Within these glaciers could be dormant organisms, possibly giant parasitic or mutated species preserved in cold sleep. As permafrost thaws, unknown life forms could emerge, adapted to survive and dominate once released. 4. Mutation and evolution. Nuclear waste, pollution, and radiation zones like Chernobyl have already produced strange mutations in animals. Prolonged radiation exposure could create entirely new species or awaken dormant genes in older ones. The result? Beasts of unnatural resilience, size, and aggression, the makings of real-world monsters. Chapter 4. Humanity's response. Can we fight back? If monsters truly rose against us, could humanity defend itself? On paper, yes, we have nuclear weapons, drones, missiles, and advanced AI-driven warfare systems. But history shows that even the smallest unexpected factor can throw the world into chaos. Imagine a creature 300 feet tall emerging from the ocean. Even the most powerful weapons would only anger it. The infrastructure collapse would be catastrophic. Cities drowned, supply lines destroyed, economies shattered. Panic would spread faster than the monsters themselves. Governments have contingency plans for many disasters: nuclear war, pandemics, and asteroid impacts. But a monster apocalypse? Officially, no. Yet secret defense programs might exist. Rumors suggest certain governments maintain biological response divisions, specialized units studying anomalous creatures and crafting biodefensive strategies. If such units are real, they could be humanity's last line of defense. However, if monsters emerged across multiple continents simultaneously, land, sea, and air, humanity's survival odds would drop dramatically. Chapter 5. The ecological domino effect. The rise of monsters wouldn't just be a human problem. It would rewrite Earth's entire ecological system. A single massive predator could destabilize entire food chains. Consider an ocean monster, something like a revived megalodon. Its presence alone could wipe out whale populations, disrupt marine ecosystems, and collapse fishing industries. Similarly, a land-based predator like a colossal reptilian beast could force mass migrations of wildlife and humans alike. Even if humanity managed to destroy or contain the creatures, the environmental consequences would linger for generations. Toxic battlefields, radiation zones, disrupted climates. Nature would struggle to recover, and Earth's balance could tip irreversibly. Ironically, monsters might not be the cause of our extinction, but the trigger for a self-inflicted one. Our attempts to destroy them could unleash global disasters, nuclear fallout, poisoned oceans, or runaway climate change reactions. Chapter 6. The psychological impact. Fear beyond reason. The psychological effect of a monster apocalypse would be just as devastating as the physical destruction. Society's sense of order depends on understanding the world, science, reason, and predictability. Monsters defy all of that. Imagine waking up to a world where natural laws no longer feel secure, where governments can't protect you, where cities burn under the shadow of creatures beyond comprehension. Faith would fracture. Science would panic. People would lose their sanity. Cults could emerge, worshiping the monsters as gods or ancient avengers. Governments might collapse under mass hysteria. Media manipulation and misinformation would skyrocket, with every shadow turning into speculation and fear. Humanity wouldn't just be fighting for survival. It would be fighting to remain human. Chapter 7. Hidden Truths. Are we already preparing? Some researchers and conspiracy theorists argue that the world's elite already know about the possibility of monstrous beings. Underground bunkers, private islands, and global seed vaults could serve not just as shelters for nuclear war, but for unknown biological threats. Why do some military bases exist near volcanic or deep-sea zones? Why are certain oceanic regions permanently off limits to civilians? Why are there sudden bursts of seismic activity with no geological explanation? These questions fuel the belief that the world's powers might already be aware or preparing. There are even classified projects rumored to focus on weaponizing or communicating with massive biological entities. Ancient artifacts, recovered fossils, and restricted archaeological findings may hold clues to past monster events. Civilizations that vanished not by war or disease, but by something much larger. Chapter 8. Could we coexist? Not all monster scenarios end in destruction. Some scientists and thinkers argue that if monsters are truly ancient beings, survivors of epochs long before humans, then perhaps they are not our enemies, but part of Earth's balance. In this theory, monsters are not villains. They are nature's regulators. Humanity's unchecked expansion, pollution, and destruction of ecosystems may have triggered a natural counterforce. Monsters, in this sense, would be Earth's immune response, a way for nature to cleanse and reset itself. If we learn to coexist, humanity might gain knowledge beyond imagination, biological, ecological, even spiritual. But such coexistence would demand humility, restraint, and understanding, qualities humanity rarely demonstrates when confronted with fear. Chapter 9. Preparing for the unthinkable. So what can we do? If the monster apocalypse is even remotely possible, preparation could mean the difference between survival and extinction. 1. Scientific monitoring. Strengthen global research into unexplored environments, deep oceans, underground networks, and polar regions. If anomalies or unknown organisms exist, early detection is key. 2. Crisis simulation. Governments should develop monster response protocols, not necessarily for giant beasts, but for any large-scale biological or environmental threat. Evacuation systems, drone surveillance, and population relocation plans should be in place. 3. Resource protection. In an apocalyptic event, food, water, and energy would be humanity's lifeline. Investing in sustainable and off-grid technologies could ensure survival when cities fall. 4. Psychological resilience. Fear and chaos destroy societies faster than monsters. Education and mental preparedness programs can build unity and rational action under crisis. 5. Cooperation over competition. If humanity faces a global threat, borders and politics will mean nothing. Survival will depend on global cooperation, science, military, and civilian unity under one cause. Chapter 10. The final question. Are we ready? In the end, the monster apocalypse may not just be about creatures of flesh and bone. It may be a reflection of our fears, our arrogance, and our fragile place in the universe. We have built civilizations on the illusion of control over nature, time, and even death. But if monsters are real, that illusion shatters. They remind us that humanity is not the ruler of this planet, merely a temporary tenant in a world far older and wilder than we imagine. So, are we ready for the monster apocalypse? The truth is, probably not. Our weapons may be powerful, our technology advanced, but our understanding of the unknown remains limited. Monsters, whether real or metaphorical, represent the ultimate challenge to human dominance. But perhaps readiness isn't about weapons or science. Maybe it's about acceptance, acknowledging that the universe is still full of mysteries, and that fear doesn't have to mean defeat. Because in facing the monsters, we might rediscover what it truly means to be human, resilient, curious, and unyielding in the face of the impossible. When legends rise, if the day comes when the skies darken and the oceans roar, when something colossal breaks free from the depths and humanity looks up in awe and terror, we will remember this moment in our myths. Perhaps future generations will tell our story of the time monsters walked the earth again and humanity faced extinction not with surrender, but with courage. Until then, we live in the fragile calm before the storm. The monsters may be real, or they may be waiting for us to become our own. Either way, the question remains hauntingly unanswered. When the monsters rise, will we be ready? If the monster apocalypse began tomorrow, would you be ready, or would you be running? The signs are all around us, hidden in myths, science, and the shadows of our world. Humanity's survival may depend on how much we're willing to believe before it's too late. If this deep dive into the monster apocalypse, are we ready? Made you think twice about what's lurking out there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Stay alert, stay alive, and remember, the monsters may already be watching. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your lights on.